Alright, in this video I'm going to show you the simplified field template that I made. It's based off the Big Daddy template that you can download from Dreamteams site. I'll put the link in the description down below to his website, and you can find the template in the download section. I made this for myself just because I don't necessarily use a whole lot for the fields. I only use a handful of the actual grass or turf myself, and the backgrounds, there's a lot of them, and a lot of little extras that'll have like the tunnels and corner tunnels and things you can add also. But the way I set it up was I don't use those things very much. I just kind of go with whatever the actual wall is. And there's different types, where it'll have press boxes and luxury boxes and all that, entrances, tunnels down here instead of here and vice versa. So I usually just go with them. I don't necessarily add a lot of the extras. So I kind of simplified everything down into a template that had most of the stuff I use. I did not include a lot of little extras or the actual walls themselves. So those are in a folder that you can just select by browsing to it. I have the extras here, and these are all, like I said, the different things that would go here, and tunnels in different locations. And then there's the fields, which are just the 5 different types of like grass, and I kind of consider this one the turf because it looks like the carpet from the old 70s, early 80s stadiums like the Vet and Riverfront and Three Rivers and all that. And then the walls are the actual physical stadium that goes around it, the different types. Those I like to just select myself. But a few of these things are, let's see, yeah, that's new. These ones that say raster are ones that I've added from, I think, the template that you can download. So I'll get those out of here because I've just been working with it and saving. So this should generally be what comes with it, and you can turn all of it off and add back what you want. The base is just there to have a very bottom layer. It doesn't have to be this. What you can do is you can fill this in, or you could paste one of the other fields on top of it. If you wanted the two-tone, just load it, copy, and paste as new layer, and there you go. Now you've got the new field. And they all have the pylons and the gridiron already attached. If you wanted to do your own design or your own color, then that's what this is for. And base, if you're not going to paste something on top of it or even use it because you're going to paste in something up here as a new layer, or just use the color to change the field color and turn on gridiron and pylons and all that, then you can just make that invisible, because it's not necessary unless you're actually going to use it. Now, if you wanted to make your own field color, that I've already been messing with it. I made a blue field for my Miami team because they're the Sharks. It's kind of a Boise State ripoff. But you can fill that in, with the paint fill. Just if there's something already there, just jack that up to 200, and then let's see, pick the kind of blue you want, or whatever color. I mean, it could be any color, but I was just doing that one. Now you filled it in. Just make sure color is selected. Then you can go to adjust. If you like putting the noise on there, if you want to not have any noise, kind of make it like it's the old school turf, or if you just don't like the noise in your images, you don't need to. Just add the noise if you want. Then turn on gridiron, and then you can turn on the pylons. And these are not the original pylons that came with the the main template that you can download on John's site, and it might be off a little bit. So you might have to adjust these pylons a little if they're not. And it would mostly just be this one. The corner, front corner of each end zone might not line up with that notch that I had told you about that's in the end zone tutorial, where I said, you know, if you use the showboats from the USFL download, it has a nice little notch cut out. And it does, but I don't know if mine lined up exactly. So you might have to go to the selection tool, and this is PaintShop Pro. I'm not going to do one for each different program because it's all pretty self-explanatory. You know, whenever you load it into either Paint.net or Photoshop, you're going to see the layers, and you can turn them on or off. It all works the same in each one, and just make sure you select the layer that you're actually working on at the time. But if these pylons are not lining up, then you might have to move them a little bit. And since they're on their own layer, make sure it's selected, and then you can select it and then maybe drag it back a little bit. They may be off a hair, and then some of the end zones are cut a little bigger, so that's all a matter of preference. It's up to you to how you want it to look. You might have to do a little cutting or something around your end zones when you're making them, but you can eyeball it. But that's pretty much what's here. You can turn on and off the different people. Depends on, you know, all of them or some of them. These seem to be a little bit bigger. The people 1 and then 2 and 3 are kind of smaller, but about the same size, just a little smaller. I kind of like them better, but you know, again, that's up to you. You have the benches, which the small benches, there's 6. The big benches, there's 4. And that might depend on the size of the actual players on the field. You know, you have the small, the medium, or large, whatever the settings are, where you can make the players bigger. The small might be better with one type, and the big benches might be better with the other. Here's your snow border. Snow on the field there's already a file for that in the game that it adds when it snows. The border is here for your snow field, and then there's two different rain filters. This one kind of has the more muddy down the middle, and the other one is just kind of the same across. But let's say you were going to use one of the pre-existing fields from the field folder. You would just go, and it should be in the template set up this way. I haven't changed anything since I uploaded it. So you would go to fields, and let's say you wanted to use the kind of the light colored two-tone. Just load that into the game, copy it, and go back to the template. Make sure your base is selected. So you want your field to be the absolute bottom of the image, and then hit edit, paste, and paste as new layer, and that should lay it in there nice. The process might be slightly different in the other two programs, but pretty much it should layer it in exactly. And then you wouldn't need color or gridiron or pylons because they're all right here. And the only thing you would need to do is choose the people if you want people, which size bench you want. And we're not going to do the snow or the rain yet. So now you would need to choose the kind of stadium. So that's, you go to walls, and then you can just browse through these and see which one you like. Let's just say I've decided I like that one. And copy. You don't have to select, not in PaintShop Pro, you don't have to select it to copy. You can just copy and go back to your oops, where's my template? Get rid of that. There it is. Nope. That's the other. There it is, mini template. Okay. And then for the walls, you would want the walls to be probably right about here, right above the snow border. Then edit, paste as new layer. And it won't be, in PaintShop Pro, it won't necessarily, because all that extra stuff was empty, it doesn't just automatically set it in there like you want it. So select your move tool, and just kind of scroll your mouse to zoom into this very top corner, and then left click on the stadium part and just drag it up. And you can see that there's basically 1 pixel width on either side of that corner. Go over, up, and then zoom out, make sure everything's lined up. And there you go. And it does look like what did I choose? Field template 9P. Looks like it has a little person, so you would have to cover that up. That's annoying that I left that in there. But I'll show you my mistakes. Best thing to do is you choose your rectangle tool, click on that, and then choose the same color as this backdrop. Click OK, and then you can just cover him up. It's a little annoying, but not that big a deal, and you might not even see it in the game. Although now that I've pointed it out, you'll probably notice it. But he's covered now, and I'll just save it. And once you do it here and save it, then it's good every time. But otherwise, that's pretty much it as far as adding the walls. And I mean, anything else you want to add, if you want to put in extras, if you wanted to have, you know, like a corner tunnel, you can do that. Just make sure that's above the one that you just put in there. So click on it, because you just added that. Edit, paste, as new layer. And because it's a small item, you will have to grab it and kind of drag it into place. But as you see, once you drag it into place, it kind of fits right in. And some of them probably fit better than others. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's me making not putting it in the right spot. There we go. Steady hands. I don't have them. But, I mean, the little extras you can add. Here's, you know, something for the other side. You could add it, whatever. And there's corners. So it's all there to add. The big template, again, this is just simple because I don't really do a lot to my stadiums. It's kind of quick and dirty. I don't really even use the extras. I just made one that's pretty quick for me to churn out stadiums. To me, I usually do just a stadium. Try to make it slightly different as far as the type of walls and the benches, and maybe I'll change up the people. But eventually, over time, I'll start adding stuff to the wall. You know, little decorations. You know, I'll have a championship field for the title game that might have banners or something like that. And for my teams individually, you know, if they win the conference or if they win a title, then I might add a little banner here, you know, 76 league champ, or you know, conference champ 1982, whatever. Just slowly start decorating it over time. I don't get too caught up in it has to be perfect right out of the gate. I just like for them all to look a little bit different, so you have a little variety. It doesn't always look like you're playing on the same field. But that's pretty much it. I mean, there's your snow border. Snow on the field will get added. You can do a template, I think, for that, but I've never messed with it because I actually am fine with the default one in the game. The rain, again, default one in the game, I don't think looks that bad, so that's up to you if you even want to use that or not. But it's pretty simple, and I just tried to keep it straightforward. You know, the only things you got to go outside the box, so to speak, for are just if you want to change the type of field and the walls that you know, go around it, which really definitely will be when you can see the difference in one stadium to the other, is how, you know, you go from end zone, you know, tunnels to corner tunnels to tunnels up here and such. And then of course, you know, if you don't want to use our original field, there it is, then you can just turn on the color, gridiron, and Pylons. And you can choose whatever color you want if you want to get crazy. But that's it. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful. It wasn't necessarily a step-by-step, but I mean this is pretty easy for the most part. It's laid out pretty simple. But like I said, if you want a lot more all in one, definitely go over to Dreamteams site and download the main template. But either way, thanks, and see you next time.